Immigration and the border will no doubt come up during tonight's presidential debate, but poise, command of facts, and composure will also be a part of what so many of you are watching for. Thanks for joining us here at 6 o'clock. I'm Cherie Pallello.
And I'm Mike Dardis. Not many undecideds, but there are some, and this could be big tonight. Local supporters of each candidate planning watch parties for tonight's big debate. Could be the only one between the two. WLWT News 5's John London here now after talking with some locals about what they hope to see. John?
Mike, they're hoping to see one of those gotcha moments, one of those lines that sealed or sunk a campaign over the past decades and past elections. If not that, a performance that would start to nudge poll numbers higher for one of the two, because 3 hours before this debate, it's pretty much a dead heat.
They want Trump to be Trump, but to also scrap the personal barbs. Guys like Josh Bosworth, head of the Young Republican Club at UC.
He's going to do great things for our country, and if he sticks to his policies instead of going off of the script a little bit, he'll do great.
Republican students will watch together at the Lindner Business School. Professor David Niven and 150 political science students will do the same elsewhere on campus.
Most important thing for Trump is to not give this away by returning to some of his lines. Talking about Kamala Harris's life and identity would be a disaster, because they're ready for that and they're ready to make him squirm if he goes in that direction.
Election workers are putting in extra hours to handle an influx of new registrations, as well as 35,000 mail-in ballot requests so far.
That's a pretty big number. It's not quite the level that we saw in 2020, but of course, that was the pandemic election, so we're expecting vote by mail to be a little lower, but it does show that we're tracking towards pretty robust turnout.
One that local Democrats hope translates into a Harris victory. They will be at Memorial Hall tonight to watch.
It's just being with people who think like you do, feel like you, who want to fight for democracy. This is a serious, serious election that's coming up.
For Vice President Harris, as Professor Niven put it, it's the political version of the Hippocratic Oath. First, do no harm.
Most important thing tonight is to not do anything, say anything that speaks to those handful of swing voters and a handful of swing states and says, I'm not ready for this job, I wasn't ready for this campaign, I'm not ready to be president. Her job is really to just reassure.
And local election officials offered some reassurance tonight about the new Dropbox rules. Although they're still trying to understand them, they intend to make it as convenient as possible. And when they're open, they're planning a drive-through delivery lane in a different lot where ballots can be dropped off directly to election officials. John London, WLWT News 5.